operating system. I am your instructor Varshata. I welcome you all to the video tutorial series. So let's start our lecture. So topics to be covered in this lecture. That is the producer consumer using message passing. Then we will see what is mutex and we will see the difference between mutex and semaphore. Okay, so today we are going to learn the producer consumer problem. Already in last lecture also we have learned the producer consumer problem using the monitor. Okay, and we have also learned the producer consumer problem using the semaphore. Okay, so today we will see the producer consumer problem using the message passing. As in third unit, we have discussed what is message passing. So first of all, just recall it. What is message passing? The most popular form of the inter-process communication is a message passing. Okay, so when we are talking about IPC, message passing will be there because IPC mostly done by the message passing. IPC, that means inter-process communication. Got it? Okay, process communicate with each other by exchanging the message. Okay, if one process want to communicate with others, then that process will exchange the message. Suppose in real life one person want to communicate to the another person, what they will do? They will talk to each other in a particular language that is understood by both. Okay, for example, one will say hello, another person will say hi. Okay, then first person will say what's up, then another person will give the answer according to the question. So that means what? This is one way of the communication, one way of the conversation and conversation language that should be understood by each and every person what who are going to communicate with each other. Okay, so same way here, if two processes are communicate with each other, they should know the primitives that is used by that processes. Okay, a process may send the information to a port from which another process may receive the information. Okay, so the process that want to send the message to the another process, that process will send the message that to the port. Through that port, the message will be received by the receiving process. The sending and receiving process can be on the same or different computers connected via the communication medium. It is not necessary that sending and receiving process always there on the same computer. It may be possible that sending and receiving process may be on the different computers. Okay, so this is the terms of the distributed computing. So when we are considering the distributed computing, again the message passing will be there because in distributed computing most IPC communications is done by the message passing. Now, as I told you that the process required the primitives that should be understood by each and every process. Okay, so here when we are talking about the IPC using the message passing, we use the two primitives which are send and receive primitives. As we have discussed in detail in the third unit, that send is it is used to send the message and receive that is used to receive the message. So when one process want to send the information, it will send the send primitives, and when the process want to receive the information, it will execute the receive primitives. Okay, so here the syntax of the send is given that send destination ampersand message. Now what is the meaning of this? So in this syntax, destination is the process to which the sender want to send the message, and message is what the sender wants to send. Destination, that means where you want to send the message, and message, that means whatever the message you want to send to that destination. Got it? Same way in the receive, it is used receive messages. It is used to receive the messages. Receive source ampersand message. That means in this syntax, the source is the process that has sent the message, and ampersand message is the message that is sent by the process. Got it? So this is totally reverse of each other. One will get the address of the source and another will get the address of the destination. Now here, this is the algorithm using the message passing. that is of the producer-consumer problem. Okay, we have learned the producer-consumer problem using monitor. We have learned the producer-consumer problem using the semaphore, in which we have used the mutex variable also. Okay, and today we will see the producer-consumer problem using the message passing. So be careful, in exam it may be asked according to the message passing, or it may be asked with the semaphore also. So according to the questions, you have to explain this algorithm. So let's start the producer-consumer problem. Before starting, you just recall what is the producer-consumer problem. Producer-consumer problem, that means what? Producer, that means what? It is producing the item. Consumer, that means it is receiving the item. Okay, so it is consuming the item. So now, what is the producer-consumer problem? We have some allocated buffers. For example, 10 or 20 or 100, whatever the need, such type of buffer is that. Okay, so producer will produce the item and it will put it in that buffer, and consumer can receive the item from that buffer. If buffer is full, producer will wait. If buffer is empty, consumer will wait. Okay, and if buffer is partially full, then producer can produce also and consumer can consume also. That all things we have discussed in detail when we have discussed what is the producer consumer problem. Okay, so let's start with what is how we are able to execute the producer consumer problem using the message passing. So this is the algorithm for that. Define n is equal to 100. That means we are defining the size of the buffer. Okay, so that is n is equal to 100. According to need, you can declare this. Then void producer void. That means this process, this steps is for the producer. Now integer item, one item variable is created. Then message n, that means what, the message buffer. While true, that means while the producer want to produce the item. So at that time, item is equal to produce item. That means generate something to put into the buffer. Okay. Now it used the receive primitives, that is receive consumer ampersand m. Why? Because if the slot is free, then and only then the producer can produce the item and it can put into the buffer. So wait for an empty slots to arrive. So that will be sent by the consumer and it is received by the producer. Now it will build the message ampersand m and item. Okay, so it construct the message to send and then it will send to the consumer. So send consumer ampersand m and it will send this message to the consumer. Now at the consumer side, what will happen? Consumer will receive this information and it will consume the item. So here you can see this process, the steps is for the consumer. Now what is here? Integer item and I2 variables we are creating and message m. Okay. Now here we are using the for loop. Why? Because how many empty slots are there? Okay. So for empty slots, it will send the continuously message to the producer. Okay. So producer can produce the item. So for I is equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus, it will send the send primitives to the producer. So produce ampersand m. So it will send the n empty slots to the producer. While true, that means while the consumer want to consume the item. So what will happen? Receive produce ampersand m. That means it will get the message containing in the item. Item is equal to extract item. Extracts the item from the message. And it will send the produce ampersand m. It will send the back empty reply. Okay, so it will send this empty reply to the producer, so producer can produce the item. Then consume item, so whatever the item that is received by the consumer, now consumer can consume that item. Okay, so this is the steps for the consumer, what consumer will follow to extract the message, to consume the message, and to send the empty slots to the producer. Now, next is mutex. As we have discussed about mutex also in when we are talking about the producer consumer problem using the semaphore, at that time also we have used this mutex variable, and in dynamic philosopher also we have used this mutex variable. Okay, so what is exactly this mutex? So what is the meaning of this mutex? Mutex is the mutual exclusion object. Okay, it is used to give the access to the resources to only one process at a time. So at a time, only one process can get the access. So that will be done by this mutex object, that is mutual exclusion object. Got it? The mutex object allows all the processes to use the same resource, but at a time, only one process is allowed to use the resource. Okay, so what mutex do? Mutex allows all the processes to use the same resources, but at the same time, only one resource can be used. Mutex has lock-based mechanism, that is to handle the critical section problem. You can use like up and down, mutex up, mutex down, etc. Mutex lock, unlock also you can use to use this mutex object. Whenever a process requests for the resource from the system, then the system will create a mutex object with the unique name or ID. So whenever any process sends the request for the resource, the system will create the mutex object with the unique identification. So whenever the process want to use the resources, then the process occupies a lock on the object. Okay, so every time the process will occupy the lock on the object when the process want to use that particular resources. And after locking, the process use the resources, and after completing the use of that resources, process should have to release that resource. Okay, so finally release the mutex object. So after that, the process can create the mutex object in the same manner and use it. Now, by locking the object, that particular resource is allocated to the particular process, and no other process can take that resource. So when one process is there in the execution, no any other process will get that particular resource. Okay. So in the critical section, no other process are allowed to use the shared resources. So in this way, we use the achieve the process synchronization and with the help of the mutex object. Now this is the example of the mutex, wait mutex and signal mutex. Also you can use the down mutex and up mutex, lock and unlock. That is depends on you how you are able how you want to use as the mutex variable. You can define any of the keywords for defining the mutex, wait and signal, down and up, or you can use the lock and unlock also. A mutex is different than the semaphore. Why? Because it is a locking mechanism, while semaphore is a signaling mechanism. This is the difference between semaphore and mutex. So, mutex is a locking mechanism, while semaphore is a signaling mechanism. A binary semaphore can be used as a mutex, but a mutex can never be used as a semaphore. So, mind it, the binary semaphore can be used as a mutex, but mutex can never be used as a semaphore. So now this is the detailed difference between semaphore and mutex. So the basic comparisons for the semaphore and mutex. So first one is the basic. What is semaphore? So as we have discussed in last slide, semaphore is a signaling mechanism and mutex is what? A locking mechanism. Now semaphore is an integer variable whereas mutex is an object. Okay, you know the semaphore as we have done the producer consumer problem using semaphore also, and we have used semaphore in dynamic philosopher also. Okay, so semaphore is what? The integer variable, whereas mutex is what? The object, that is a mutual exclusion object. Then function. Semaphore allow multiple program threads to access the finite instance of the resources, whereas mutex allows the multiple program threads to access the single resource, but not simultaneously. So at a time only one can used. Operations. So semaphore value is modified using the wait and signal operations. But mutex object is locked or unlocked by the process requesting or releasing the resource. So we cannot modify the mutex value. Now here, categorize. So semaphore can be categorized into counting semaphore and binary semaphore. That means multiple semaphore and binary semaphore. And mutex is not categorized further. There is no any categories of the mutex. Then in terms of resource occupied, if all the resources are being used, the process requesting for the resource performs the wait operation and block itself till the semaphore count becomes the greater than the 1. While in mutex, if mutex object is already locked, so the process requesting for the resource waits and queued by the system until the lock is released. Okay, so this is the basic difference between the semaphore and mutex. So in this video, we have learned that producer-consumer problem using the message passing, then what is mutex and difference between mutex and semaphore. So we are completing this unit over here. So in this unit, first we have started with the IPC. What is inter-process communication? Okay. Then we have learned what is mutual exclusion, race condition and critical section. Mutual exclusion, that means at a time only one process can execute. Race condition, that means both the process are trying to get the resources at the same time. And we have taken the example of the train coming on the single train. From the two different tracks, trains are coming on a single track. So which train will give the which train will access the signal to pass on that single track? So that is the example of the race condition in the real life. Then critical section, that single track is known as the critical section. Then we have seen the mutual exclusion with the busy waiting. We have seen the numbers of mechanism, that is disabling, interrupt, lock and unlock, PSL, Peterson solutions, etc. Then we have learned the semaphore, monitor and mutex. Then we have learned these three classical problems, that is the producer-consumer problem, then reader-writer problem and dining-philosopher problem. Okay, so this is all about this lecture. Remaining interesting topic we will cover in the next lecture. Thank you.